So I just wanted to leave my parting thoughts before I head out with Lawrence. And hopefully when you see Lawrence again, he'll be a different person. To me, I think, last week we did Christmas songs, and I want to tell you again just about why Christmas is important to me. Good news, I want to let you guys know. Some of you guys know we work with an orphanage in China. The orphanage relocated to Shanghai, and we weren't sure if they were going to get a contract from the government, but I just got confirmation they got a new contract in Shanghai. So we're now going to do a new project with them. So you guys see my book when we were doing the Operation Christmas Child? I just ordered 100 copies for that, for the kids. So it's going to be good times. Just as we think about thinking through Christmas, one of the things I think about is Christmas songs. And I think the old Christmas songs really help us to really see biblically what Christmas is about. So like I was saying last week, hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. And I think that song to me it means a lot because you go to China, whenever you look around at all the stores, they don't have like stuff about Jesus, obviously, or you can say Merry Christmas. They have Santa Claus. And Santa Claus surprisingly looks like a KFC guy. Like, it literally looks like a KFC guy, like with different colors on. It's ridiculous. But the rest of that song goes, peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Talking to people in any country but the U.S., it seems like, in the Asian countries, the North African countries, you ask them what Christmas is about, they're not going to tell you, right? It's about, we celebrate because God came, to earth and reconciling himself to sinners. They tell you it's about, giving gifts and like all this stuff, right? And to me, it's such a crazy thing, to know that we here have the gospel, but there's millions of people out there, even billions, that don't have the gospel, And to know the next line of the song is, joyful all ye nations rise, joy the triumph of the skies. If you know when that song was written, right? Who knows what century that song was written? 19, right? I don't know if you guys knew what was going on in the 19th century, but the 1800s was actually the founding of modern missions by William Carey, David Livingstone, going to India and Africa. What's interesting is that if you look at that, in the 1800s, there was a huge push for missions. So when you look at some of the songs from that period, right, it talks about the nations. Because there's such a joy that, we might reach all the nations, finally. Right? After like 1,800 years, of Christian history, we may actually finally reach the nations. In 2009, I look, and surprisingly, the gospel's gone out to a lot of places. Africa, South America, a lot of parts of Asia now, and I've heard the gospel. So I want to encourage you guys as this year ends to really think about what you want to do next year. Right now is the time of letting you know all the mission committees are thinking about or planning their trips and trying to get interest, stuff like that. I really encourage you guys to really think about what you want to do next year. If you thought like, it could never be me going on missions, I'm already set in my career paths. Never say never. All right, Jesus didn't start his ministry until 30. So most of you guys are under 30. And for those of you who are older than 30, some more than others. One of the famous missionaries is George Mueller. George Mueller, he worked with orphans in England, but his missionary career started at 70. All right, at 70 years old, he started traveling to different countries. He was a really awesome preacher, right? But he didn't even start till 70. So we want to encourage you guys, as you guys make New Year's resolutions, think about the past year. Maybe you're called to go this year. Maybe, when the short-term trips come up, maybe God's calling you to go. If you don't feel like you're going to go, don't think sending is like, second best. Sending is a great, great thing. I don't know if Lawrence told you guys, but we raised like $1,800, right, at the poker thing, and that was ridiculous. Something really encouraging from that is, I was talking to a couple actually at CC, I won't tell you who. I was telling them that I have a friend in NorCal. I wanted to visit him, but he said I couldn't because his family's moving out of their house into a mobile home. And they're Asian American. I'm like, what the heck, what are you doing? He's like, well, my parents wanted to move into like a less expensive place so they can give more to the church, right? I was like, wait, are your parents Asian? He's like, well, yeah. I'm like, I've never heard this before. And I was telling one of the couples from CC that, and they actually really start considering maybe even living in a mobile home. And I think the reason why that's exciting to me is to think that, as a culture, I feel like sometimes we forget how to sacrifice, but you see glimmers of hope. You see glimmers of hope. People willing to do radical things. And one of the crazy stories from Harvest, I don't know, this will be funny to some of you guys. We had donation slips from the missions offering bag, and one of the guys wrote, it was a donation for $5. Okay, one of the guys wrote, "I don't have any money, sorry, but I found this $5 on the ground." He put it in. Honestly, like I take that thing by the wall because like that is so encouraging, right? To realize that none of our money is ours, right? None of our money is ours, but it's used for God's kingdom. God's kingdom is coming, and God's kingdom is here. So I pray that just really start thinking about how this past year went and what you guys would like to do for the next year. God's going to do great things. I'm in talks with Pastor Stephen about great things, but I cannot announce these things yet. But I hope you guys just really think about what you want to do next year. Okay, thanks.